Hi there, I'm so glad you decided to come watch this video. I'm going to show you how to make these weather icon foiled stickers from start to finish. So to start off, I'm in the Procreate app on my iPad. I'm using an Apple Pencil to draw out all the different weather icons. I'll make sure to include links to all of the tools, products, anything I use. But I wanted to keep this simple, so I'm overcomplicated the sun for sure. So I'm making clouds, then I made a sun, then I combined the sun and clouds together for partly cloudy. Took the clouds and added some raindrops so I could show off the rain, and then the last one I did was snow falling. So I thought those five would be the basics. So then I exported them from my iPad and brought them into the Silhouette Studio on my computer. Nothing too fancy. I'm dragging over each PNG. And from here is kind of where we start the tooling on the images themselves. I start with sizing, so I went ahead and I brought over one of the designs onto like a generic template for an Erin Condren vertical weekly setup, and I wanted to make sure that it fit in at least the large appointment boxes. So that was kind of like how I made sure the size worked for me, nothing too scientific. From there, I figured out the width that I like, again, based off of checking all of that, and I changed the sizes of each of these to match that width, changed the thickness of all the lines to match as well. So from here, we're adding what's called the offset. That's the tool that it's called within Silhouette Studio. And the purpose of adding an offset, and you can see that distance there, you can decide what's comfortable for you. That red line that it adds doesn't have any thickness or weight to it, so it won't be printed on the paper, but that's the cut line. So I'll tell Silhouette to look for that red cut line when I send it through. So the black will be printed because that is the line that has thickness. The red won't, but that is what the Silhouette blade will follow when it cuts these out. Sorry if that was a poor explanation, but that's how you make cut lines. Offset isn't required. You can just like add those yourself in a different way, but when you're making like more intricate designs like these, I find that offset is best. Here I double click on the lines to get this like point editing to show up, or you can find the point editing tool, and I'm deleting some of them, like the lines inside of the design, because I don't want the inside cut out. It's clear already, the paper I'm printing on, so it's not necessary. But I'm also smoothing out some of the lines just to make them look better, and in some case smoothing out because I know the blade will catch on something if it's like too sharp of a turn, and it might not fully cut through. And then as I finish each cut pattern with the design, I group them together so that they never get lost. If you don't do that, occasionally you'll drag the wrong thing over and have to start over in making your cut lines. I spent a good deal of time fussing with the snow icon. I still am not fully happy with it, but after it cut, I realized I can't make it any smoother or it would look weird. So at this point, I'm making 5 copies of each of them. That's because I wanted 5 of them to fit. You'll see eventually I'm bringing in a layout for like a box size for them to sit in that matches some of my other stickers, but I knew I wanted to try and fit 5. At this point, I'm also spacing them out. You'll see later on that this is actually kind of a waste of my time because I ended up not spacing them exactly right and having to redo this part, but it was good for me to look at. So at this point, I'm happy with them. I'm grouping each row together, then doing a vertical alignment, grouping them together again. And this is the layout that I'm going to place these on. This is my doodle layout. These are doodles that I generally draw myself, again, on the Silhouette, or not on the Silhouette, on the Procreate app. Or I sometimes buy images and I bring them over and I tool them so that they're small doodle images that I have in the shop for, just something quick to throw into spreads. I love having them. So I'm adding a line here because I'm not going to print any of the colorful stuff that normally comes, like if you saw a minute ago under the like titles, there was a color. I'm putting these on a toner printer, so there won't be any color to this, just black and white. So I added those horizontal lines under AV organizing and above weather icons just to help give some dimension, if you will, to the object that I'm trying to get done. So you saw that I realigned everything to fit in the boxes, and I'm duplicating this out. I wanted 6 of them on this one page I printed, and at this point I'm looking at it and I'm realizing this looks wrong. Something looks off, and it's because I didn't take the word weather icons and center it Doesn't that look a million times better? So I'm glad I caught that because I think it would have driven me nuts. So now when I reduplicate to have 6 of these, it looks correct. Now let's go ahead and print this. So the sticker paper I'm using is from onlinelabels.com. It is their OL177 Clear. I will go ahead and put a link to this down below, but I love this brand for most of my sticker paper. And that was my printer. I'll again link it below, but it is just a Brother toner printer. So I'm going to go ahead and press print. You're going to see me flip through a lot of the settings for printing, but I really don't choose too many complicated ones. I make sure that I select a thicker paper, and sometimes I'll make if I'm printing in color, I'll definitely choose like the highest print quality. But with toner, there's not really a lot to it unless your printer is very specific, so I suggest doing some test prints. But really the only thing I change is I make sure to say that I'm going with thick paper. But I'll go ahead and flip through the rest of these settings here just because you might want to see what my defaults are. And I'm printing 3 of these because I'm going to do 1 in silver, 1 in gold, and 1 in rose gold. So here is the old Brother printer. It's not even wireless, y'all. It is connected. I'm having it print off all 3, super sped up, because this is the slowest printer that I've ever used, but it works so well that I can't get rid of it. I don't want to go through the wars of finding another printer. So heading over to my drawer, this is where I keep all my foiling stuff. We have the Mink foiler down there, the protective sleeves you send them in, and then all of my foils. I, again, will link where I got all of these, but I use the Deco foil for a lot of this stuff. It's a little pricier than some of like the stuff you get if you are able to buy it in bulk, but I don't buy enough in bulk to need that. I'm really terrible at this part. This is the part where you like cut down your foil to match your design. I don't know why I'm so bad at it. I think using this tool here was really hard, but it was the only way I could get straight lines. Anyway, I'm cutting down the foil to just perfectly fit over this piece of paper. At the edges of the paper, you can kind of see them are these black registration marks, that black square. Those are registration marks is what they're called. I said that a moment ago, but those are the things that Silhouette prints out on the paper, and when you run it through your cutting machine, it looks for those marks. When you are foiling, you should not cover those up, because if you do and you get foil on them, it's going to be incredibly hard, if not impossible, for your Silhouette to catch those. But when you're sending it through your foiling machine, you don't want those to just be out and about, because they will transfer onto your protective sleeve, and then again, your Silhouette won't be able to capture them. So what I do is I go ahead and I put them in, and then I'm grabbing tiny little square scrap bits of paper to cover up the 3 registration marks. So this protects them. A little bit of the color does transfer onto those scraps of paper, but nowhere near as bad as if I were to just run it through unprotected. So I'm turning on my Mink. I set it to 3. I wait for it to turn green. That means it's heated. And I go ahead and run it through. I like to carefully run it through there at the beginning, because if it goes in even a little crooked, it's a nightmare. So this is coming on out. Okay, and there it is free. I like to give it a few seconds to cool before I pull off this part. But look, this is the most satisfying thing in the whole world. So pretty. So those are the weather icons with the silver foil. I love, love, love the silver. So I went ahead and continued this on with the 2 other foil options, gold and rose gold, so that I could have the full set. So that first color you saw was the rose gold, and this is the gold. You see it's a little bit more of a yellow gold that I use. I think it's nice to see on camera in case you're considering getting these from me to see what kind of gold I have. Because every shop's gold is just slightly different, I feel like. Anyway, running these through the Mink as well. Again, protecting those registration marks, very important. You can see some shadows of registration marks on that protective sheet that I didn't get to. first time I've learned my lessons, I guess, is the best way to say it. Ta-da. Okay, so we're back in the Silhouette Studio, and you can see what I'm doing here is I'm going to the print or send button to send this to the line. What I'm doing is I'm sending this to my Silhouette cutting machine. Sticker paper clear is what I use, and I'm testing right now the force and speed. I like to keep speed 5 or less, but I'm testing the force. I'm testing the force needed to cut through this clear paper. I have to adjust it depending on how my blade is doing. It changes, so I don't use foiled stickers, or I don't make foiled stickers, especially on clear paper a lot. So I like to test it every single time. So I went ahead and I put that in my machine. I press send. It's getting into the queue. It's registering everything right now, and it's about to tell me that time estimate, which is over 5 minutes. I usually, when I'm making doodles, I like to keep it under 4 minutes, but I knew this was going to be a lot. There's a lot of images on here. They're kind of complex. So I just let it run forever. I use that ruler in there to make sure that it all, again, stays level, doesn't get caught on anything. I have a very small workspace, but I find that it makes things go a lot better. So it's cutting these out. Okay, I love that I can fast forward through this. Here is a look at some of that. I'm going to grab a sticky note and show you one of each of them so you can see what they look like. Very easy to pull off. I also wanted to check that, but very shiny and nice clear to it. So what I do is I'm taking out this gadget again to trim these down into individual sheets. I don't like the Silhouette to do this part. I find that it catches a lot more, especially on already cut lines. So just doing this myself. Anyway, I'll show you what these look like in a notebook in a moment, but if you want to make these yourself, again, I included every product I use down below, but if you want to purchase these from my shop, as soon as I put this video up, I'm going to make sure that they are listed, and I'll make sure they are also down below. Oh, that's me trying to figure out why there's a row of stickers missing, and it's because I pulled those off to show you guys what they look like on a sticky note. Alright, heading over to my Hobonichi Weeks planner. Been using this a good bit this year. Just wanted to show you what it looks like inside a planner setting. I found that these are okay on the removable front. Like if I leave it on for too long, it's not going to, but just leaving it on and quickly taking it off, it doesn't pull off a lot of the paper underneath. But again, I don't recommend it, especially honestly in like the Hobonichi Weeks, you know, that paper's thin. This is what it looks like in the monthly format. A little big for this purpose, but it wasn't meant for this. I don't know why I didn't just grab a kit or something. But anyway, that's what it looks like. Hope you learned a little bit. Let me know if you decide to make your own. And if you have any other videos from me you'd like to see on how to make things for your planners. Bye, y'all.